So here we have number 23. This is the formula to find the volume of a cone. Notice it says volume equals 1/3 pi r squared h. Keep in mind r is going to be the radius and h is the height of the cone. Okay. What's our goal here? To solve for h. So what's keeping the h from being by itself? Well, the 1/3, the pi, and the r squared. I don't recommend dividing by fractions, let's get rid of that first. What's the opposite of 1/3? Instead of dividing by fraction, let's multiply by the reciprocal. Keep in mind a reciprocal is you take a fraction and you flip it over. So in this case, 1/3, the reciprocal becomes 3/1. So we're going to go ahead and multiply both sides. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We're going to multiply both sides by 3. 1/3 times 3, that's going to cancel it out, and that's the whole point. So we get 3v equals pi r squared h. Now, all that's left to keeping the h from being by itself is the pi r squared. Let's go ahead and divide for that at the same time. Giving us h equals 3v over pi r squared. Now at this point, 24 is a related problem to 23. So we might as well just go ahead and just talk about it really quick. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but the idea is it gives you the volume, which I believe is about 2684.2 or something. It's close to that. For sure the r is 9. So then we just plug in those values, and then it also tells you that pi is 3.14. So we just plug in those numbers, 3 times 2684.2 over 3.14, and then r squared would be 9 squared, which is 81. And you'd plug that into a calculator and then you would solve. All right, your next question was, why are we saying that the answer is all real numbers for number 20? The reason being, I believe the question, sorry, I forgot to double check it. Do I have the assignment right in front of me? 10m minus 9 equals negative 6. Minus 6 is greater than negative 35. Okay. Before we can do anything else with an absolute value problem, what's the first thing you've got to do? Always is get rid of anything outside of the absolute value. So in this case, what's outside the absolute value? The negative 6. To get rid of that, we add 6, which gives us 10m minus 9, absolute value, is bigger than negative 29. Okay. Now we just use some logic. Can you take the absolute value of something and get a negative number? No. There is no number that when you take the absolute value of it, it's going to be a negative number. In fact, you can't take the absolute value of anything and have it be it's either going to be greater than or equal to 0. So no matter what, this part has to be bigger than 0. And isn't 0 bigger than negative 29? So for anything, no matter what we plug in there, if you take the absolute value of it, it's going to be bigger than a negative. So all real numbers when you take the absolute value are going to be bigger than a negative. Which is exactly what this problem is saying. So we've got an absolute value, and it's saying that's going to be bigger than a negative. So what's our answer going to be? It's going to be all real numbers. When in doubt, plug in some values and see what's happening. If you plug in any number there, it's definitely going to be bigger than 0, or negative 29 for that matter, when you take the absolute value of it. Hope that clarified your questions. Go to bed.